Take a look at what happened. Watch out.
The strange details surrounding the July 13, 2024 attempt on the former president's life just keep accumulating. As more information comes to light, it only seems to deepen the mystery rather than clarify what actually occurred. Many questions remain unanswered following the assassination attempt on Donald Trump, but one of the biggest is how the Secret Service and other authorities allowed it to happen in the first place. Witnesses tried to warn police. In a detailed report by the New York Post, multiple witnesses recounted seeing the would-be assassin, Thomas Matthew Crooks, crawling on the roof in the moments leading up to his attempt. In a BBC interview shared on X, one witness vividly described Crooks as being visible for several minutes before the incident. This witness mentioned that several attendees were pointing at Crooks and attempting to alert the Secret Service. He recounted, "They, the Secret Service, were looking at us the whole time we were standing over by that tree, but noted that Crooks was likely obscured from their view due to the roof's slope." Another witness shared on X that they observed Crooks moving on top of one of the buildings, going between one building to the next. They confirmed that law enforcement was made aware of the situation. Despite these accounts, it appears that neither the Secret Service nor local police responded to these warnings in time, which raises questions about the adequacy of the security measures in place. This perceived lapse in security drew sharp criticism, including from Elon Musk, the controversial owner of X, who tweeted, "The head of the Secret Service and the leader of this security detail should resign. The assassin climbed onto an unguarded roof." One witness raised a critical point regarding the lack of security measures during the assassination attempt. In a post on X, he questioned, "Why is there not Secret Service on all of these roofs here?" A BBC image of the event area shows that Trump's stage was positioned in front of three side-by-side buildings with distinct sloped triangular roofs. Adjacent to this setup was a smaller building positioned kitty-corner to the stage area and a larger factory building located further away, past a small grove of trees. The would-be assassin, Thomas Matthew Crooks, fired from the roof of the factory building, the farthest of the available roofs. Despite the distance of approximately 150 yards between the factory roof and Trump's stage, it was well within range for an assailant armed with a rifle to deliver a fatal shot. The Secret Service is currently investigating why no agents were stationed on these rooftops, a question that aligns with the concerns raised by witnesses. Crooks, who was wearing gray camouflage, remained still once in position, blending in with the environment. The distance from which he fired is consistent with the range U.S. Army recruits are trained to hit targets with an M16, a weapon comparable to Crooks' AR rifle. After Crooks fired several shots, the Secret Service's counter-sniper team responded by shooting and killing him. This incident suggests that the protective detail could have had a clear line of sight to the unguarded roof, potentially identifying Crooks as a threat before he took action. The absence of security on these roofs has thus become a focal point in the ongoing investigation, raising questions about the adequacy of the security measures in place during the event. Local law enforcement flagged Thomas Matthew Crooks as a potential threat. The Washington Post conducted a detailed analysis of video footage posted to social media, confirming that recording began exactly 2 minutes and 2 seconds before the first shots were fired. In the critical moments leading up to the incident, 86 seconds elapsed between the initial attempts to alert authorities and the sound of gunfire. Additional information has since surfaced, revealing that local law enforcement officers had been aware of an individual behaving suspiciously, Thomas Matthew Crooks, well before he opened fire. Crooks had been flagged as a potential threat even before he entered the rally area. An unnamed U.S. official disclosed to NBC News that Crooks had exhibited unsettling behavior, described as pacing back and forth near the magnetometers set up for the rally's security. These magnetometers, designed to detect metallic objects such as weapons, raised questions about whether Crooks had managed to bypass the checkpoints without detection. Local authorities found Crooks' actions concerning enough to initiate a foot pursuit, and they reportedly communicated these concerns to the Secret Service. In light of these events, former Secret Service agents have criticized the lack of response, particularly questioning why plainclothes agents were not dispatched to investigate the reported threat. The evolving timeline has only added to the confusion surrounding the incident as new details continue to emerge, suggesting multiple points of failure in the security protocols. This includes the missed opportunity to intercept Crooks before he had the chance to position himself and fire at the rally. The ongoing investigation seeks to clarify these discrepancies and understand how such a critical oversight occurred. Trump was allowed to take the stage amid reports of a suspicious person. As detailed in recent reports, the U.S. Secret Service was informed about a suspicious individual carrying a rangefinder while Thomas Matthew Crooks was surveying the rally area. According to two sources familiar with a congressional briefing on the assassination attempt, Secret Service agents communicated this sighting via radio at 5:52 p.m., approximately 19 minutes before Crooks fired at Trump. Meanwhile, sources informed NBC News that the Pennsylvania State Police were aware of Crooks an hour before the shooting. However, it took local authorities an additional 30 minutes to pass this information along to the Secret Service. In a post-briefing statement, Senator John Barrasso criticized the response, labeling it a 100% cover-your-ass briefing. He pointed out that Crooks was seen with a rangefinder and a backpack and questioned why the Secret Service failed to keep track of him. Adding to the confusion, Fox News reported that on the day of the shooting, Crooks's parents had contacted law enforcement to report their son as missing, along with his father's AR-style .556 rifle. The police have not disclosed what actions, if any, were taken following this report from Crooks's family. This situation raises several critical questions, including why Crooks was not questioned by authorities and why Trump was permitted to take the stage despite the looming threat. The building that was used was identified as a security threat, yet ignored. Significant concerns have emerged regarding the security procedures that led to the AGR International Warehouse roof being left unguarded. Positioned less than 150 yards from the stage where Donald Trump was scheduled to speak, this location should have been identified as a potential security threat. A former Secret Service agent speaking with NBC News expressed frustration, stating, "Someone should have been on the roof or securing the building so no one could get on the roof." The situation became even more complicated when it was revealed that while the Secret Service had flagged the building as a potential security risk, they had assigned responsibility for securing it to local law enforcement. Butler County District Attorney Richard Goldinger weighed in, noting, "The Secret Service ran the show. To me, the whole thing is under the jurisdiction of the Secret Service." In the days following the shooting, there were still no clear answers about how Thomas Matthew Crooks managed to access the roof. Reports eventually indicated that he likely used the building's air conditioning unit to gain entry. The absence of this building from the Secret Service's secured perimeter has raised further questions. In an interview with ABC News, Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle admitted that several buildings in that outlying area were assigned to local law enforcement for security. She acknowledged that a lack of manpower might have contributed to the failure to adequately secure these areas. Local law enforcement officers were in the building Crooks fired from. Maybe. In a post-assassination attempt interview with ABC News, Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle addressed questions about the security arrangements. She emphasized that the responsibility for securing the building used in the assassination attempt had been delegated to local police. Cheadle explained the absence of law enforcement personnel on the roof by noting that the building in particular has a sloped roof at its highest point, and so there's a safety factor that would be considered there that we wouldn't want to put somebody up on a sloped roof. And so the decision was made to secure the building from inside. However, this explanation faced scrutiny when a local law enforcement representative contradicted Cheadle's account in an interview with the New York Times. According to the representative, officers were stationed in an adjacent building, not on the roof as Cheadle suggested. The Times reported that, in an unofficial statement, local law enforcement officials clarified that their counter-snipers were positioned on the second floor of another building with specific instructions to monitor the crowd rather than secure buildings. Adding to the controversy, former Secret Service agents have disputed Cheadle's rationale, arguing that the presence of a sloped roof does not inherently disqualify a building from being used as a sniper's vantage point. They pointed out that another nearby building with an even steeper sloped roof had been occupied by Secret Service snipers at the time of the shooting. Snipers took almost half a minute to kill Crooks after he opened fire. Law enforcement officials reported that Secret Service snipers locked onto Thomas Matthew Crooks just 11 seconds after he fired his first shot, and 15 seconds later, they shot him dead. However, sources revealed that the sniper team had actually spotted Crooks on the roof of the building at 5:52 p.m., 20 minutes before the attack. The building was located outside the Secret Service's designated security zone, leading the team to leave the area under the control of local law enforcement. No police officers were stationed on the roof, which could have been a critical oversight. Insights from retired snipers, a former Secret Service agent, and a former Marine sniper, shared with the Washington Post, suggest that the slanted roof and surrounding trees might have hindered the sniper's ability to clearly acquire their target. Jason Lawless, a retired sniper with the Tulsa Police Department, observed that after Crooks fired his first shots, a Northern sniper team member flinched and briefly looked away from his scope before readjusting his position. This indicates a potential delay in the sniper team's response. Additionally, the second sniper team, positioned at the southernmost point, reoriented itself prior to Crooks opening fire, suggesting it might have been aware of a potential threat. Audio analysis of the incident footage revealed 10 gunshots, with the first 8 fired within a span of 6 seconds, displaying similar acoustic signatures. Following this rapid burst, another shot from a different location was heard, and a final shot occurred 16 seconds after the initial volley, with distinct acoustic characteristics. Although audio analysis is not infallible, this evidence suggests that the security team managed to lock onto Crooks approximately 6 seconds after he began shooting. Agents allowed Trump to fist pump and put on his shoes. The photo of Donald Trump with a bloodied ear and his fist raised in defiance amidst an assassination attempt has become an iconic yet controversial image. This dramatic moment was captured just after Trump was permitted to put on his shoes despite the ongoing danger. The decision by the Secret Service to allow Trump to remain exposed and the delay in removing him from the stage have come under intense scrutiny. Secret Service agents are trained to operate under the assumption that there could be multiple attackers. Had there been another shooter present on July 13th, Trump's decision to delay could have been fatal. Amidst the chaos, Trump insisted, "Let me get my shoes on," even as one agent urged him to move to the cars immediately. Despite the urgent situation, Trump repeated his request, and the agents allowed him to comply. Experts have expressed strong disapproval of the handling of this situation. Richard H., a UK close protection expert and former member of the Royal Military Police, criticized the response, telling NBC News, "The moment you know you are getting incoming rounds, you grab hold of that boss and you throw him into a car and you get out of there as quickly as you can with the maximum amount of aggression." H expressed his astonishment at the delay, remarking, "They stayed on that stage for over a minute. What on earth were they doing? It was shocking." Jeffrey James, a retired Secret Service veteran with 22 years of experience, also voiced his concerns. In an interview with the New York Times, he emphasized the urgency of the situation, stating, "If that's me there, no. We are going, and we are going now. If it's me, I'm buying him a new pair of shoes." The Secret Service didn't secure additional manpower. Sources have informed the Washington Post that local police reached out to the Secret Service before the rally on that fateful Saturday to report a critical shortfall in resources. They indicated that they could not assign personnel to the building from which Thomas Matthew Crooks would later attempt to shoot Donald Trump. Despite the responsibility of regional units for the area, it remains unclear why the Secret Service did not address this security gap with its own resources, if available. Jason Russell, a former Secret Service agent, acknowledged to the BBC that while the Secret Service is not equipped with unlimited resources, the situation should have warranted a review of available options. In a letter to FBI Director Christopher Wray, Ohio Representative Jim Jordan underscored the resource issue, attributing it to broader staffing shortages. Jordan claimed that the Secret Service faced constraints due to personnel being assigned to the NATO summit and First Lady Jill Biden's event in Pittsburgh. Whistleblowers have disclosed to the committee that the U.S. Secret Service did not have proper resources for President Trump's campaign event in Butler, Pennsylvania, because of these staffing shortages, Jordan wrote. However, roll call reports that any lapses in security due to a lack of funding seem unlikely. The Secret Service had received a substantial increase in appropriations for the fiscal year 2024, totaling $3.1 billion, nearly $100 million more than President Joe Biden's initial request. This increase included a 24% boost to the $1.4 billion allocated for protective operations, which directly funds security measures for heads of state. Despite this significant increase in funding, the lapses at the rally highlight ongoing concerns about the adequacy and allocation of security resources. Crooks was able to get an assault rifle into the rally. The FBI has confirmed that Thomas Matthew Crooks used an AR-style 5.56 rifle with 5.56mm ammunition in his assassination attempt. This type of weapon, similar to those used in the tragic 2015 San Bernardino mass shooting and the 2012 Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting, has become associated with high-profile violent incidents. While the exact model of Crooks's rifle is not specified, the Ruger AR-556, a common AR-15 variant, features a barrel length of approximately 1.5 feet, an overall length between 2.5 to 3 feet, and weighs around 6.5 pounds. The methods by which Crooks smuggled such a weapon into the rally have drawn significant scrutiny. CBS News reported that investigators suspect Crooks might have concealed the weapon prior to the event or smuggled it in using his backpack. Authorities believe he may have hidden the rifle near the air conditioning unit he used to access the roof from which he fired. According to a source within the Secret Service, Crooks did indeed stash the weapon before the rally, but the precise location remains unclear. The source noted, "We went from golf rangefinder to AR-15, and now we have to fill in the gap," highlighting the ongoing efforts to understand how the weapon was concealed and brought into the secured area. The Secret Service chose not to cover. The AGR building Crooks shot from. Thomas Crooks's assassination attempt on Donald Trump was clearly the result of extensive premeditation. While his exact motivations remain unclear, reports indicate that Crooks was methodical in his preparations. According to the New York Times, he legally acquired an AR-15-style semi-automatic rifle from his father and had conducted online searches related to major depressive disorder, as well as the names of prominent leaders, including Trump and President Joe Biden. The planning timeline reveals Crooks's meticulous approach. On July 3rd, the Trump campaign announced a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, about an hour and 20 minutes from Crooks's home in Bethel Park. By July 6th, Crooks had researched how far Lee Harvey Oswald was from President John F. Kennedy when he committed the assassination. Crooks had also constructed amateur bombs and visited the rally site a week in advance to familiarize himself with the location. He registered to attend the rally, visited a shooting range the day before the attack, and purchased a ladder on the day of the attempted assassination. His actions demonstrated a clear and deliberate plan. In contrast, the security measures taken by local law enforcement and the Secret Service faced their own challenges. On July 8th, a joint team from these agencies surveyed the rally area. The Secret Service requested additional support from Beaver County, which was strained by the need for volunteers for 12-hour shifts. Despite these efforts, the AGR International Warehouse, from which Crooks ultimately fired, was deemed by the Secret Service as not warranting specific coverage. As a result, Crooks was able to bypass counter-snipers and access the roof, where he attempted to assassinate Trump. Local law enforcement were suspicious of Crooks for more than 90 minutes. On the day of the assassination attempt, Thomas Crooks arrived at the rally grounds at 10 a.m. He spent just over an hour on site, while counter-snipers began arriving. After leaving the rally, he returned to his home in Bethel Park, where he purchased 50 rounds of ammunition. Crooks then returned to the rally grounds at 3:35 p.m. According to a summary from Senator Chuck Grassley's Oversight Committee, Crooks was first observed by a Beaver County sniper at 4:26 p.m. The sniper found Crooks suspicious as he sat at a picnic table near the AGR International Warehouse, where he was later seen leaving. Crooks texted his team to alert them about a vehicle parked in a law enforcement area, indicating his awareness of the sniper's presence. He mentioned, "I'm just letting you know because you see me go out with my rifle and put it in my car so he knows you guys are up there." A bike and backpack were also noted and monitored by authorities. At 5:38 p.m., the Beaver County sniper sent photographs of Crooks to the Beaver County Emergency Services Unit, describing him as loitering around the AGR building with a rangefinder aimed at the stage. The sniper warned, "If you want to notify SS snipers to look out, I lost sight of him." By 5:45 p.m., the alert and photos were forwarded to command, who inquired about Crooks's direction of travel. But the exact information was unclear. An officer was dispatched to the roof to investigate, but before he could reach the top, Crooks aimed his weapon at him, causing the officer to retreat. Moments later, Crooks opened fire on Donald Trump. In response, snipers immediately engaged Crooks, killing him on the spot. The rapid sequence of events and the inconsistencies in the response to Thomas Crooks's assassination attempt on Donald Trump have left many questions unanswered and scrutiny at an all-time high. From the delayed reactions to the apparent gaps in security measures, it is clear that this incident has exposed several critical flaws in the protective protocols surrounding high-profile events. What are your thoughts on the security oversight and the timeline of events leading up to the assassination attempt? Do you believe more could have been done to prevent it? Share your insights and opinions in the comments below. For more in-depth analysis and updates on this case and other critical issues, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for our latest content.